Final showdown of Norway chess.
His opening choice is going to be because Vincent is one of the best prepared players. In order to have winning chances against him, you have to take him out of the book. You have to take him out of theory. So Prag goes pawn to c4, pawn to e6. This has been the opening of the tournament. Knight f3 and d5. Queen's gambit declined. And d5, and most of the players have gone knight c3 here. But there you have it. Prag's way of saying that I want to play for a win by pawn to e3, opening up his bishop. Vincent now takes his time. 3 minutes, plays bishop e7, the most solid way to play. You castle, you play b6, bishop b7, knight d7 and push c5. Knight comes out to c3. And black castles here. White takes on d5. E takes d5. He takes back the pawn. And now black has this structure where, we have the queen's gambit declined, Carlsbad structure, but the bishop is blocked by its own pawn. So that does give Vincent good chances, and he plays knight c6. I think the move is just meant to bring Prag out of his prep, because, okay, natural is, I guess, c6 or maybe bishop g4, but knight c6 blocks the c pawn. And Prag simply goes h3, stopping the bishop. You can see he's playing against this bishop. Can't come here, can't come here. Can go to e6, but that's not a great square to go to. Bishop comes out to d6. And now maybe Prag castles here. Yes, he brings his king to g1. Presses the clock. He has a small lead on the clock here. And a fresh position to play. Rook e8. Okay, what can be the plans? There are a few. You can go bishop d2. You can go a3 b4. You can go queen c2. He goes rook e1. A useful move. Maybe at some point you want to go e4. h6. Played by Vincent. Both players taking it slow here, not rushing in. And now a3 played with the idea of b4 and bishop b2. And Vincent now goes bishop e6, defending the d5 pawn. And it's time for Prag to expand on the queen side with pawn to b4. A great move. And now Vincent Keimer goes a6. He stops the knight from jumping in. Also prepares knight e7, c6, bishop f5. These are the plans on the board. Bishop b2. And now Vincent could go knight e7. But he decides to play queen to d7. The game continued with pawn to b5 now. At this point, something happened with our camera. It malfunctioned, and so we have the moves after a few moves. So let's play through the moves where we don't have the video footage. Bishop b5, pinning the knight, queen moved away, and the knight jumped in. And this is where Vincent could have played a very nice exchange sacrifice. Bishop e5, giving up this, and has very good compensation because the a3 pawn is weak. But instead, he goes bishop a3, and this is what Prag really wanted, because after takes, bishop c6, rook a1, and Prag got back his pawns. Now he has two knights, and one very important thing is that this bishop is not a good piece. So rook c8, he goes rook b1. Finally, Vincent gets c5, but Prag jumps in with the knight, and this is the advantage that he was looking for, which is to have a knight on e5 and to have another knight on d4. These two are very good pieces. The queens also got traded. King came to h2, bishop e6. It looked like the game would end in a draw, but Pragg had this nagging pressure with the knight here. Rook f1, putting pressure on the f2 point, f4, and now Vincent made a huge mistake. That was h5. I mean, not as big as our videographer there who forgot to keep the camera on, but now he restarted it, and let's go back to the game. And here, after the move h5, Pragg is thinking he's already winning, but the point is the g5 square has been weakened considerably, so the knight can jump in here, but it's a good idea to start off with rook to b8 check. Pragg takes his time and gives the check, and that's a good move. Okay, king h7, and now this classy move, knight ef3. This example also shows that when the play is localized on one side of the board, then the knights become so much superior to the bishop. f5 is coming in, and knight jumps to e4 for Vincent. And he goes pawn to f5. The bishop has to go back. You know, the way in which Vincent could have held on was not so simple. h5 was a mistake, but he had to play some accurate moves. And now Pragg can pick up the d5 pawn, but I believe there is more to be won. He goes knight e5. He's attacking here. You can't play f6. Knight g6 leads to a forced mate. He goes pawn to g6, and the only hope for Vincent is if he gets h4, knight g3 and rook h1 mate. That would give him good chances, but it takes 3 moves, and Praggnanandhaa is right now having things figured out. He goes rook f8, the best move in the position, and he attacks here, and there's absolutely no way. Like if you play f6, I have f takes g6 winning. So he goes knight to d6, defending here, and now fg6, because if fg6, the rook on f1 is hanging. So you have to play king g7, and now there's this insanely nice move, knight e6 check, because if you take pawn takes, rook on f1 is hanging, and he takes it. White is winning here. Bishop e8, and king g3, king h4, just slowly bringing your king in. He does it. Takes. I mean, taking here is possible. It's just that the knight is so much superior to the bishop that Pragg actually brings his king in. And look at the king being 2 squares like a diagonal away from the knight, so there are no checks. h4 played. I mean, Vincent knows that he's losing here. Rook a1. And Pragg is being super careful here. Usually it's in positions like these that you make mistakes. One idea is to take on f7 and come in king e5, but rook a7 pins the knight here. And now it's all over. King f6. He goes for a check. King goes back. And now rook e7 attacking here. If you play bishop f5, I have knight e5. And there's absolutely no way you can stop from losing those pawns.
Subscribe for more video.